This is Brandon I. Brooks, managing editor with the Los Angeles Sentinel newspaper and also the LA Watts Times newspaper. It is my absolute pleasure today to be here with one of the founding members of the Pan-African Film Festival and also the current director of the film festival, Mr. Ayuko Babu. How are you doing today, sir?
It's wonderful that y'all are here.
Well, I appreciate you being here and you doing the important work that you do, and that's why we're here today, to have a conversation about that. So I think the best thing to start with is, this is the 25th anniversary, so this isn't something that just has happened, but 20 years goes by fairly fast. But tell us why this was birthed, how this festival came about, and then we'll rewind and learn a little bit about you and how you got to the point in 1992 when the festival was founded.
There was a need to, after the 60s, as the 60s declined, we understood that we gotten black folks to a level to begin to call themselves black, stop calling themselves Negro, to be African American. And by the way, when we said black, we talked about the race, we said African American, we said the nationality and continental identity. We didn't say either or. I don't know how that came up. It was all the same and was interchangeable because we had to establish a black consciousness. We realized that the next step was to raise people's consciousness and to connect black folks from around the world to understand our story. We began to realize that that's why we pushed for black studies. I was part of the black studies. I was one of the people who helped create black studies centers across the country, black student unions. I was in SNCC and the Panther Party and the Black Congress.
Okay.
And then also went to UCLA. So we were part of that whole experience.
Wow.
And we knew what was important in this historical moment was the struggle about whose story gets told. Because if you follow the wrong story, you follow somebody else's story. And they deliberately created that situation in us to listen to somebody else's story and see the frames of work. So we knew we needed to hear our story. And what that meant was, as a result of the slave trade and colonization, African people are spread all over the planet. So a little bit of our story is everywhere. A little bit of it is in Haiti, a little bit of it is in New Orleans, a little bit of it is in Lagos, a little bit of it is in Kenya, a little bit of it is in Papua New Guinea, a little bit of it's in the Maoris in New Zealand.
Wow.
And what happens as a result of being spread all over the planet, a little bit of it in Jamaica, we tend to get caught up in our own particular story. So you go to Lagos in Nigeria, to give you a sense of what I'm saying, Lagos is bigger than Southern California. You think with 15 million people here.
I've actually been twice.
Well, you know, Lagos is think of Southern California, 99% black. Think of Southern California, with that story. So you could really get caught up with anything else other than Lagos. I mean, you know, they running, they doing it. They got 180 million people. They got da, right? You can get caught up with, I'm from New York, you know, I'm from LA, you know, I'm from the West Side. We all get caught up in these little stories. That's just a piece of the story. And if you don't hear what Lagos is talking about, or you don't hear what New Orleans is talking about, then you haven't heard the whole story. And then you can't integrate the whole story and have a better understanding. Also, we understood this, that wisdom and information is not the monopoly of anybody. All folk got some information.
Amen.
My father used to say, now you ain't the only motherfucker got some sense now. But we can get really caught up in that.
Yeah.
So we understood we need to bring all these stories together so at one time, at one point, you can see all these stories. And you begin to make the cross connections, begin to understand a little bit more of who we are and what we are and where we're going. Because it's so important to understand where we're going. And it's like this issue with Trump. One of the issues that nobody's talking about, African Americans at this point, but if you don't know the story, you would know that it may be time to talk about black folks thinking about moving to Africa and moving back to African development. Because it's real clear that there's no future for African Americans in the United States. Now, if that's an easy, unsaid thing, it's going to be the artists begin to examine that. Because we've been in this paradigm for a long time, and he's really showed us, and really, people really showed that as far as they're concerned, they don't want you to go to school. They don't want to do no Head Start to help you go to school. They don't want to help bring nobody in the law school. They really don't want to do nothing about anything. So what they're telling you, they really want you to die. That's what they're really saying. And the white masses voted for that because they didn't got left out of capitalism. They sold them a bill of goods that said, listen, you white, you get a shot. Stick with white. So they went with that because they hadn't been left out. So that's the reality of our life. So in order to try to navigate and understand what to do, we got to listen to everybody's story. Because this is on everybody's mind around the world. So we need to understand that. We need to understand there's a film we have this year we brought back called Toussaint Overture, the Haitian Revolution.
Yes.
Now, that's a lesson
Yes.
for us now because the Haitians, the black folks in Haiti, they were the only people in the world that ever got free. The only slaves that actually got free and set up their own nation. They defeated the greatest nation in the world at that time was France. They defeated France, Spain, the United States, and England. It was so horrible in Haiti that there was no procreation.
And say the brother's name again.
Toussaint Overture,
yes.
one of the major leaders.
Yes.
It was so terrible that they would work you to death. You remember the stories about black folks in New York. They found the kids bent over under Wall Street. They'd work you to death and bring 100,000 more in. And then brothers and sisters rose up, revolted, and got free. Then they decided, they understood that they were going to boycott Haiti because they did not want that example. So they had a meeting and said, we will live in poverty and live in this situation until the rest of black folks get free. They made that decision, wrote it down, it's clear. But we need to know those stories to understand that this has been dealt with.
A little bit more about you before we dive back into the film festival. Tell me about you. I mean, you have you're very well versed. Everyone always loves listening to you because you're a wealth of knowledge. But I want to know about Ayuko Babu. How did you come to be? So tell me where you're from originally and a little bit about your background in Los Angeles and New York and how you got to 1992 to say, you know what, this is the year. And it was around the riot that we need to, the rebellion, we need to do this.
I come out of the 60s. I came to consciousness in the 60s. Which means that my consciousness was shaped from 1955 and 54, Brown versus Board Education, Emmett Till, through the war in Vietnam and so forth and so on.
Wow.
I'm part of the great black migration of black folks going north. My parents went to Wyoming. I was raised in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Wow.
And the significant thing of being raised in Cheyenne was there's only 2,000 black folks in the whole state and 1,000 in the city of Cheyenne, which is the capital of the city.